motion to approve the minutes. Now, the problem with that is I'm the only one that can motion.
Right. So you can make the motion and Brian can second.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the August 20th, 2024 meeting.
Second.
And do I write that down?
I'll take care of all.
Okay.
I'll take care of everything.
Okay, so Robin, do you want to give us the sales tax recapture report?
Yeah. So we had 2 projects in 2024 that I'll explain what's going on, but 2 projects that were on the list of projects that had exceeded their sales tax exemption. So just to explain what that means is every project is approved for a set amount of dollars that they can use for exemptions for a specific time period. So every year when we do our annual report, we say, okay, you have to let us know. Actually, you're letting New York State know through us. And we have, New York State tells the IDA, I'm just looking at, I'm sorry, this is distracting me that that's purple. That's all.
That's okay. My printer.
I'm like, why is that purple?
My printer's crazy.
I never use purple. Sorry. The New York State tells the IDAs, okay, you're in charge of making sure that they've done what they were supposed to do and did whatever. So we had 2 projects that came in, exceeded their sales tax approval. One of them was the 22034. They, if you can see, were over by $28,000 and they repaid that to New York State. The other one, the 23033, I've been going back and forth with them for about 6 months now. And hot off the presses, I didn't tell you this, hot off the presses last night at 8:15, I got an email that, and they had told me this, that what they submitted was in error. And they were fixing it, but they had a cybersecurity attack on their computer system and it caused all sorts of delays. So they have since amended their report, sent it to New York State with a copy to us, and so they are now under the approved amount. So that they're not, there's no need to pursue recapture, they're all set. So it's off the list. So we had 1, they repaid, we're all good.
Perfect. So we don't need to do anything with any of those?
Nope, it's just a report to the board.
Okay. And so next we're going to move on to the unpaid pilot payment report. And Robin, you're going to share that with us?
Yes, and so this is what the report that we get from the county and the city and any towns if pilot payments were not made by projects. The towns usually let us know, and for some reason we don't get a lot, and
at some point the town outstanding amounts are turned over to the county, so the county acts as a backstop and makes the town whole, and then it becomes amounts due and owing to the county. So sometimes we'll hear from the town if we catch them in an interim period before the county's acted as the backstop and made the town whole.
Right. Yes, so you can see we've got 2 for the county. Actually, one of them I crossed off because after we printed this report in September, they paid in full. So we only have the 1. This is actually, you'll notice, is an individual. This is through the Choice Program, which is a program that we had done in the past with the city of Rochester to encourage home ownership. And we see a lot of these people get confused. If you can imagine, you're not a business and you're like, why am I getting a pilot bill? Yeah. You know, and so because they get a bunch of
regular town or county city bill for their special districts. Okay. And then their taxes will be zeroed out and they'll get an additional COMIDA bill, and I think they're confused.
This is just a homeowner, basically.
This is just a homeowner.
Yes. And I bet you if I probably should have done this, if I checked with the city, he may have paid it since then, or the city does a good job of pursuing their delinquent people. So moving on to the city, there were 2. The first one is that balance is multiple years balance. They've been on the report several years, and the pilot is actually done, over with, as of last year. The city says that the owner comes in, and this was also a housing project, the owner comes in every once in a while and makes some sort of deposit.
So it just keeps
Yeah.
shrinking over
Yeah.
the years?
Well, and adding interest.
Shrinking and
but-
growing.
Yeah,
Or it keeps growing
Yeah.
because of the interest?
yeah.
Is there ever a legal action taken, or do we just sort of roll with these?
Well, it's done now, the
Yeah.
pilot has run its term, so we've terminated, and the city has always been, I don't wanna speak for them, but they've kind of been okay with it. Just
Yeah.
like, yeah, he comes in, he makes a payment every once in a while.
And we're not accountable other than to report it, it's their job
We
to.
send demand letters
Yeah.
Are we responsible?
for payment,
Yeah.
for collecting payment, no.
So if they want, so they're out or we're out the money?
The city is out, so
Okay.
what we do is, and I'm sure the county backstops the city as well. But what we do in our pilot agreements, we're abating the taxes, and the
Mhm.
affected taxing jurisdictions, be it a town or the city, they do all their own billing and collecting of pilots' payments.
Okay,
We, if the agreement is between us and the business owner, COMIDA and the business owner,
Mhm.
but we leave billing and collection to the
Okay.
host.
I'm sorry,
And then
Lisa, I'm
if there's
still learning.
Oh, no,
non-payment,
it's perfect,
if
perfect.
there's non-payment, we do pursue as the official contracting party
Okay,
and, try
So
to get
we
them to
might
pay on behalf.
we might take them to court or sue them.
Very
civil.
rarely do we end up having to take action, but it happens on occasion.
Mhm. Okay,
And then the last one is, pretty sure that is, not an active pilot anymore either. That ended, is this the one that, is this the housing one that was recently
Yep.
sold and then it was a whole big
Yep.
issue? The city's negotiating with them on payments. It was a shelter rent, this was the shelter rent, right?
Yep.
And what happens with shelter rent, it gets confusing because it's billed a year behind.
Yep.
So the last year of the pilot, you get two bills. You get the prior year and then you get the current
oh,
year.
wow,
So it can be a,
Surprise to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
property owner.
yeah. So the city's, I'm not recommending any action on this one, but the city kinda,
negotiate.
yeah, they started that. So there's no action needed on this as well.
Okay, thank you. So we're gonna continue and we're going to talk about the job compliance. And Anna and Robin, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, so it starts on page 6, and Robin, what's the best way to walk through, just go straight through the table? So they're not, in order of number of jobs. How are the projects ranked on the list?
They're in order by their code, so the older
Okay.
the older projects are first.
Okay, so in years past, I think we've honed in on the larger shortfalls. So looking at the list, the largest shortfall is for 17, 2602 17010. 2024 is year 6 of the pilot. Building is currently vacant but working with a potential tenant. Robin, any feedback on that project that would help?
Which one? 17010, yeah.
Yeah,
So the tenant left, the building is currently vacant, and I have already spoken with, the landlord. They are negotiating right now with a company, potential tenant, and they even talked about, having the company reach out to apply for benefits for their remodel that they'll have to do when they move in, and any equipment that they're purchasing for a sales tax exemption. I haven't heard anything in a few weeks, but they are obviously actively pursuing a tenant.
okay.
Sometimes it's helpful for me to understand without
How we
stating
got
any names.
Yeah, I know. Oh, who the tenant was that left?
Well, just because the address means nothing to me, or the
Right,
LLC
right.
title.
Right, oh, like the
And then-
nature of the business, is that what you mean?
Well, just the context, so I can learn.
Sure.
It's a building in Henrietta owned by a big developer.
Okay,
So-
It's kind of a business park there on,
okay,
Police station.
that's what I was,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay, gotcha.
And
Just
so,
to get a
Yep,
sense.
no, I know.
They see a number of move-in and
Yeah.
outs, and they've been successful. We have pilots on each of the buildings out there.
Mhm.
And they've been successful either in shuffling existing tenants into different
Oh,
space,
okay.
and then backfilling or getting new tenants. So
Mhm.
there will be an occasion where they're vacant and they show up on a job report, but it's usually a blip, and they remedy it quickly.
And this developer is a good faith partner. Very proactive.
it says on here that they're looking to sell. Company called, and to sell the property, so they're not looking to,
The 17010?
yeah, it says at the bottom, please list ongoing efforts to maintain and
Yes,
create
I'm
jobs.
sorry, you're right, yes, they were talking about selling, and that, because he called me, that's how it all started, he called me to see if they could assume the pilot,
Okay,
that's what it was.
Mhm.
I knew there was something. Thank you for pointing that out. But I have not heard yet, they may elect not to get, there's not much time left on the pilot, so they may elect to just like, nah, we're just terminate it, we're gonna go on, and I have not heard yet.
The next most significant number is a job shortfall of, pardon me, I had it wrong.
139?
139, at 18062, and this is a project that has appeared on our list, multiple times in recent years. As it states under the applicant name, you can see that, no, this is not the same, I'm sorry, this is not the same building that I was thinking about. Robin, can you detail 18062?
Yep, it's right down here on Main Street. And you can see who the primary tenant is, and
Also known as, Democrat.
Yeah, so this was the one that I was thinking about, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. So it
yeah,
has been on our list multiple times.
And actually, when I was reviewing this morning, the job numbers are not accurate, they're actually a little bit higher. 78 is what was reported, because there's actually two tenants there, and this board did approve, I'm just gonna say it, the one tenant a couple years ago, which is the Police Accountability Board in that building. And the number that you see did not include those jobs. So the numbers, they're still way short, but it's not as short as what's on there.
and isn't that police accountability board moving out of that building?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
I
No.
didn't hear that, no.
Okay,
They-
I'm sorry,
no, they could be.
I
It
could
could-
totally misspeaking.
You might be,
I thought I had
You
heard
might
something
be
in the
correct.
news.
I think there was some discussion of that. With the primary tenant being what it is, I don't know that we can ever expect them to reach the goal number based on the trajectory of that business.
Right. I mean, so much of it has been computerized and.
Yeah.
So they're about halfway through their pilot. And we've talked about this before, what do we do? Do we
Just leave it,
leave it? Do we?
adjust the job number.
Yeah.
Did we get any feedback from the city on what they wanted to do?
I don't think so.
If we were to adjust the job number, we would come back to the board and request board action.
Yeah.
It is tough with the way with the way everything's changing and how computerized we're getting, and now AI.
Yeah, is that like writing articles all by itself,
Oh.
probably?
Oh, yes, yes.
It's interesting when you have an entity that's trying to do so much in the city, and not everything's, I'm speaking completely broadly here.
No, that's
And
what
not
we're here for, right?
everything
Right.
is working. Are there other circumstances with
That
this
particular.
entity, this broader organization?
No, I think like Anna and you've talked about in the past, they face the same challenges that media phases.
Right,
And,
they've been in decline as long as I've been alive, I think, but in
I'm more
recent
talking
years.
about the owner.
Oh, and the owner and developer of the space is acting in good faith and
Yeah.
is a very,
oh, yeah, definitely.
And
honest
trying to
broker.
lease out
Right,
the
Yeah.
space in the building.
you couldn't ask for a better partner in terms of being able to think outside the
Yeah.
box for a space like that. But yes, for that particular business model, that particular tenant, I don't know that it's a pipe dream, I
Okay.
think,
Yeah,
to assume that they'll ever be able to meet the original job creation.
And if you go back in time, I mean, they actually had people typeset, my father-in-law was a typesetter for Gannett,
Wow.
literally setting each
Yeah.
letter.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and now you look at how computerized it is and how much, I mean, how many, my era, not yours, because you're much younger, but friends that were paper carriers, get up in the morning on their bicycles and take newspapers.
First job, right?
So there's so much that's changed now. I mean, most people I know get it on their phone. It doesn't
Yeah.
even come to their
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
And so there's so many changes in this industry that I think it's probably one of the hardest hit, I would think, because it's changed so much. And, you know, you feel bad for the job loss.
Right, it's
But
unfortunate.
what are you gonna do? I mean, it's just the way the world is going.
Yeah. It is notable, this is the original Gannett, paper in the United States. It's right here in Rochester,
Mhm.
it's the Democrat Chronicle. A lot of
Yeah.
history there, so
Yeah,
yes.
my father-in-law started USA Today.
No kidding,
Yeah, so he
wow.
was I'm
Really?
very familiar
Oh,
with newspapers and
yeah.
that whole history of them.
That
So
universe, yep.
it's really hard to see how it's changed so much.
Right. So I think with an understanding of the primary tenant there and that industry,
Oh,
and
no,
an
later.
understanding too of the
No.
owner developer,
Later, you say.
we can have some faith that, you know, it's with that developer behind, driving, leasing out space there, I think the future could be, there might be a positive trajectory for that site, but, in any case, we can move on to the next item. The next highest number in terms of job shortfall is 16,067. This is another one, it's 107 jobs, 97% of, percentage compared to the goal. This is another one that's appeared on the list for compliance committee, really several times, since the project started. And it's, 2024 is year 7 of the pilot, so we're pretty far down the road. Oh, excuse me, no, 2025 is year 8 of a 12-year custom pilot. So we're a little ways down the road. I don't know that we got any feedback, Robin, from the city on this one. Did they tell us what they wanted to do?
No, but I did hear from, the landlord that they're trying to sell the building and they have a potential buyer who was interested in assuming the abatement that
The abatement on the building was custom for the entity D4 that is no longer in existence in the building at all.
left the community.
Yeah.
This
And
was
it
a
was-
technology business,
Yeah,
right?
e-discovery. And the pilot was created for the retention of those jobs. It wasn't even a creation pilot, it was purely retention with a pretty high number. And the business ceased to exist shortly, not too far into the pilot agreement, through no fault of really anyone, change in technology. And we have deferred to the city on that pilot for years. There's a potential buyer. They were interested in assuming the pilot, but given the wording of the pilot, the nature of it, how specific it was to D4, we don't believe that assigning the pilot's really an option. And that business, should they buy the building, would be welcome to apply for a sales and mortgage tax exemption, and I'm sure you'll have those conversations. But the continuation of the abatement probably doesn't make sense. It was aggressive for retention that didn't happen. So,
for a specific tenant.
Yeah, and any improvement on the building would be interior, and we'd have to talk to the city, but likely wouldn't cause an increase in assessment such that a pilot would even be worth it going into the future. So that's kind of
So
real.
it's kind of in limbo right now, and I actually would make a recommendation not to take any action on it.
Just leave that one alone.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, at some point, it could be in our interest, just so I understand how this works, to just, I don't know what we do legally, remove the abatement or cancel the abatement and let the project
Terminate, yeah.
Go back to full
go back to
taxes.
it in whatever,
If we were to act on a job shortfall,
yeah.
if we were to act, yeah, that actually the remedy called for in the pilot is to revert to the difference between what they would have paid under a 485B abatement,
You know.
Let's just say what they would have paid, yeah.
what they would have paid, not in full taxes, but a different as of right abatement, and
Okay.
what they did pay in the disqualifying year, in the year in which they didn't have the job numbers.
Okay.
Which would be multiple years.
If all of us could take that language out of the pilot, we would. It is in our UTEP, however, our Uniform Tax
Oh,
Exemption
yeah.
Policy.
Yeah.
Therefore, until we change policy, we have to carry that language in. So termination on job compliance is not something, it's something we can do.
Mhm.
There's specific remedies in the pilot that would require the charging of the difference, which usually is a pretty nominal amount. And even that is not a tool that we use very often.
Thank you for training me.
Is the difference between the 485B and the as of right and regular pilot language in our UTEP, is that somewhat standard with other IDAs, or is that unique to COMIDA?
I think it's pretty unique. I don't know the reasoning behind it. Maybe there's in the archives. I'd be interested to know why they did it. No, a couple, I don't think other IDAs monitor job compliance to this extent.
Okay.
I mean, the law requires IDAs to do it now, but that's a fairly new requirement, and this IDA has been doing this level of review of jobs for a very, very long time. So they tried, I think, put in a penalty that would be less than the difference between full taxes and what they paid, and kind of meet in the middle, because again, these businesses, if they're short on jobs, are probably struggling in some manner, and
They're good, in theory, presumably they're all good faith.
yeah.
They don't wanna be here.
Right.
Yeah.
There's been instances where we've terminated pilots because the business owner hasn't responded at all to requests, or for whatever reason, this was years ago, there was one terminated,
They didn't do their report, right?
no, it was a shortfall,
The short one.
yeah. And I think it was, I don't really know why, I think that there was a number of layoffs at the business that was terminated, and I think, I'd have to look at the minutes, I think the board probably felt that it was a voluntary layoff situation, and was really for revenue bottom line versus
It wasn't in good faith, that's just.
perhaps.
Right, when if you read the majority of these, you know, they're like, we've got ads out there, we're on Indeed, we've got here.
Yeah.
The first one says people are interviewing and using it to get, raises at their current job and not taking the jobs. They can't get people to show up to work. I mean, the message is repeated
Yeah.
in the majority of these.
Okay.
And it's been like that since COVID,
Yeah.
very much. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not uncommon to see it. I'm looking at this first one, and this is like a repeat of what we saw last year.
Yeah.
And I do know that in talking to people, they are doing that. I've talked to people in the past that say, oh yeah, I got a job offer, but I went back to my employer and they didn't want to lose me, so they gave me more money. You know, and I think it's just what you see. So this first one is just so common to what we seem to see, and you understand it. I think it's more when they're not trying and just.
Right, and I don't see anyone on this list that's not
Making
Right.
an effort, right? The next highest number, in terms of the delta is, 19,027, shortfall 51 jobs with the required job number of 225, a 23% shortfall. Early days, a little bit on the pilot, 2024 is year 3 of the pilot. And as you can see, the tenant is in the traditional manufacturing sector, textile manufacturing, which is a challenging industry. And this, I don't recall, was this one on our list last year also, Robin?
I don't think so.
Nope, this
Okay.
is the first year, and they
Okay.
state that they lost due to changes in Medicare policy, they lost a huge contract. They had 40 individuals for that specific segment of their business, and it's now down to 4 due to changes in Medicare policy and whatever they were doing,
Right.
whatever they were making.
That's all on pages 22 and 23.
Oh, I see, okay, that makes sense.
We see that a lot too in the manufacturing space where they lose a big contract and they have to lay off the workers
Yeah.
associated.
Well, and it's interesting how going to a prepaid credit card over
Yeah,
the other system,
right.
it made such a huge change.
Right.
I wonder if this company's ever been engaged with GRE's economic gardening program, or if they're too large. I know GRE's been in touch with them, but just in terms of helping them with generating leads for new customers.
And it's saying that they potentially have new business coming by the end of the year from a supplier that's changing. So there's a potential there to get 10 positions back.
Correct. I'll also add, there were a couple, I don't remember off the top of my head, but significant number of these that are saying that their customers are holding off on, new business, new orders, like due to tariffs.
Yeah, you can see on page 23, that's explicitly called out.
So they're actively trying to fix this, and seems like the downfall was certainly something that they didn't create. It was created by a situation outside their control.
That, I'm sure you've heard it before, that I'm hearing more and more, both directly through my former employer and also indirectly just monitoring the economic news, that businesses are just waiting.
Right.
They're not acting on purchases, big purchases, they're not acting on capital investment, and they're all just, and so this rings true due to the tariffs and the uncertain economic environment.
Because it could change at any moment.
So we kind of just sit tight and
Yeah.
hope they're successful.
No action recommended.
So if there's anything else that we can call out, and you need some explanation on, we're happy to do that.
Well, you mean any of the others on
Any
the
of the others,
list?
yeah.
Zweigels had been,
That's okay, sorry.
let me go to my, well, I sort
Okay.
of,
It's a small shortfall.
no, it's just one.
Yeah.
It doesn't-
I will say they make a very good hot dog.
Yeah,
Yes, right?
I look to see when I'm out and about to make sure that they have their sign. We offer.
But yeah, just one on that one.
and is the 2602-13068, is that part of the semi-regular thing
Oh,
we
yes.
have around that has come up?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
changing.
Yeah, and you recall maybe at our last, was it our last meeting that we approved
I think it was,
payment?
yeah.
So as you can imagine, the assessed value of that improvement has plummeted through the years. And so each year, we work with the town and the school to adjust the payment, of course, with the declining assessed value, and retailers are not using those spaces anymore. Customers aren't frequenting those spaces anymore. And so those facilities present a unique challenge. And I think this particular developer has done a good job of pivoting with the medical center that's there now. So we'll continue, I think, to see change over time with this one, but it is a frequent flyer on this particular list.
I'm just flipping through to see if there's any that.
It's continuous with just either losing business or,
Can't find people.
can't find people. It's just a continuation there, which is unfortunate.
Page 14, hold on a second, I don't know if it's a big loss, I just wanted to, that doesn't have any affiliation with the more noteworthy name.
No,
Okay,
just a tenant.
okay.
The owner of the building.
The tenant doesn't have any affiliation with the owner of the
Right,
building. Yeah.
right.
Follow along.
My apologies.
No worries.
And we're not recommending action on any of these, correct?
Well, what happens is the committee makes a recommendation for whether or not to waive the waive the, job creation requirement to the full board. So we can take action today, or you can say, no, we wanna look this over and think about it, let's meet again next month, or,
Or not
before.
meet again and make a recommendation.
Right.
At the subsequent.
Or you could say, we want more information on this one, and this one, or we're good with everything, and we can go in many different directions.
And so some of them do have a plan. They do see, for instance, I'm looking at 2602-2203A, and where it does say we have secured a new tenant. They'll come in the fall, so they only have a one job fall, one job shortfall. But just to see that so many of these, either have a plan or are really working on a plan. None of them stand out that there's issues. I know in the past years, we have had ones that have stood out for specific reasons.
Yeah,
That's right, yeah.
This just appears to be economy-based and employee-based.
Yeah, one final question I have is on page 2602, 21050A. When this was developed, that was a pretty specific and unlikely, having come from that business, outcome. If you look at what's it, the small I there, I mean, that's what every landlord wants in anything they build.
Yeah.
They want an out parcel with one of those entities.
Yep.
And that in the grocery store.
Yeah.
And then the strip mall works, or the building works.
Yeah.
And, so, I don't just point that out, that,
Was this done before your time? This was done way before
Yeah,
our time.
way
oh, this looks
before.
like this is, I'm not,
Yeah, no, it is interesting, so it has a newer, the year is the middle number,
Yeah.
just so you know,
Oh,
so
okay.
COMIDA gets, this is the COMIDA's identifying number.
oh, thank you.
This is
yeah.
the year, and then this is the project number
Okay,
during that
okay.
year. It has a new project number because it was assigned,
Yeah,
but the original pilot dates back to, I don't know,
I can tell you.
well, whatever, it doesn't really
The-
matter,
the one
before
thing-
all of our
yeah,
time
and
here.
had I been on the board, given the development, I would have said, I might have had my skepticism, but
Yeah.
I would have said, we gotta let this project go, and
Yeah.
hopefully something will happen in that
Yep.
space, yeah.
Yep,
But we
So-
should have done the project, so I'm not criticizing that.
yeah, great project, but odd, at least specific and unlikely
Yeah,
tenant.
And the current landlord has shared their efforts and what they're trying to do, and they had community come out against their plans, and then they were back to the drawing board, so it's not for lack of
Not for lack of trying.
trying.
Okay, what? So, based on what we've reviewed and we've looked at, am I right in that we really don't wanna take any action on any of these? Projects, and just, move forward and continue to monitor?
Yeah, so I think what you would be doing is you would be recommending a waiver of
For
the-
2024.
For this,
Okay.
yeah, and you
Okay.
can make that recommendation
Okay.
at today's meeting unless you, like Robin said, if you wanted additional information on any of them or aren't ready to act, but otherwise, this committee's motion is a motion to recommend that the full board grant waivers on all of these projects, and we don't have to list them off.
Except for, I would hold
Except for the, I don't know the project code, the landlord to D4.
16067.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think to your point, Lisa, thinking about the economic circumstances, I recall in those COVID years, we gave grace to many of our project owners, and I'm getting the sense that things are tightening a little bit, and, we'll have to see how it all pans out, but, it's a trying time for local employers, and as staff points out, good faith operators are behind the wheels here, so.
will that be recorded in the minutes? Because I can imagine people who don't understand getting excited about this, and yet when you walk through it as a board member, it's all perfectly logical, all not only good taxpayer action, but also good business action, and is that, do we somehow capture that in a way?
We'll capture the
since this is
discussion in our
public?
minutes, but also the meetings are recorded and kept on
Okay,
our YouTube channel, so
Okay.
people can view our discussion and
okay.
hear all the good stuff we have to say.
So at this point, I think we wanna make a motion to waive all of these, with the exception of the one that you talked about?
Yes, with the exception of 2602-16067.
Okay, so, do we have a motion to waive all of these projects with the exception of 2602-16067?
Do you want me to make the motion or
For the-
second your motion?
I think you make the motion, and we're gonna waive that for the 2024 year. So I think you make the motion, and then I second
So
it.
moved.
Okay, and I'll second it.
That's correct.
And so then with this one particular project, are we making a motion on this one as well? The 2602-16067, are we doing anything with that one, the one that we didn't include in the wave?
We're just leaving
No, I
it.
think we're
holding
just
off.
leaving it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
We're not
Just see.
granting a waiver, and we're not denying a
Okay.
waiver.
Right.
So do we have any other business to discuss?
No?
No? So would you like to make a motion to adjourn?